What's up guys, it's Meg and welcome back to Meg After Dark. Today we're talking about the latest episode of The Walking Dead. It's season 7 episode 4 called Service. This review is really late. I'm sorry about that, I'm really sorry. You guys know I'm like the biggest procrastinator, and so I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life right now, and so this past week has been kind of crazy, and I put it off the first day because I really wanted to watch the episode again before I did the review, but then like I couldn't watch the episode and I just like kept having other things, and now it's Thursday and I still haven't watched the episode again, and I'm just doing this review now because I have to get it up and I want to talk about the episode. So forgive me if I make any mistakes in this review regarding the episode because I've only seen it once and I usually like to watch it twice. Also, that it keeps not focusing, right? So sorry about that if it stops focusing. I have two things to tell you before we start this review. One, I just got done watching, oh, it's blurry again. I just got done watching Discuss the Deads. They're Walking Dead YouTubers, their Q&A, and I was like, God, I haven't done a Q&A in a really long time on this channel, and so yes, I'm copying them. And I really want to do a Q&A here, so please, in the comments of this video only, write Q&A and ask me your questions. Anything The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones. I've been watching Westworld. Oh, I really want to talk about that, so if you've been watching Westworld, ask me stuff. Or it can be like personal, not too personal, personal questions or just anything. And then once I get enough questions, I will make a video for that. Secondly, the reason why this video is so late, I'm changing jobs again. So just, I don't want to give like all the details on here, but I quit my recent job, my most recent job, and I'm starting a new job on Tuesday, and it is working nights, like graveyard shifts, which is really gonna like throw me off, like sleeping and everything is just weird. But I'm working Sunday night at like 11 p.m. so I get to watch The Walking Dead, but then I'm not gonna have any time to edit the video before I have to be to work, and it hurts me. Like, I almost didn't take the job because I was like, guys, I have to be able to watch The Walking Dead and like edit the video because I stay up every night like late whenever The Walking Dead is on so that I can edit it and put it up like right away because it really bothers me like waiting till the next day. So unfortunately, you guys aren't gonna get the video right away. It's gonna come the next morning at some point. So that's kind of unfortunate. Also, this week has just been kind of crazy, so that's why the review has been out so late. The whole process of like deciding to quit my current job and moving forward to a new job happened within like a week. Some like really shitty stuff happened to me at my former job, and I was just like done with it, you know? And then as luck would have it, I just like got hired immediately at another place. So I'm excited about it, but it's big changes. I really want to keep making these videos for you, but you guys just have to bear with me. And if you guys don't know, I have a Facebook page for Meg After Dark. I'm pretty sure it's just facebook.com/Meg After Dark. I think if you type that in, you'll be able to find it. But the link is also in the description of this video. That's how I can like tell you guys if a video is going to be late. And only a few of you are on there. So if you want to get like updates from me, I also like to just post random stuff about The Walking Dead. Feel free to follow me there, and that way I can get in touch with you better. Okay, review. This episode was so good, was it not? Okay, Negan. I'm sorry if you guys hate him. I literally like, I know he's a bad guy, and I feel like I would probably hate him if anybody else played him, but Jeffrey Dean Morgan is just so charming in this role, and he delivers these lines so well, and he's so funny. And I was just telling someone in the comments of my reaction video, I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but the one-liners that he is saying are so good that they make me forget that he's not saying fuck all the time. So if you guys don't read the comics, this is not like a spoiler or anything. It's just that Negan pretty much says fuck every other word in the comics. And that's like his thing. Like that's one of the biggest things he's known for. And so when it came to HBO and the show being on HBO, you know, they're not allowed to have that kind of language, you know? So he has to get creative. And I read an article that Jeffrey has been ad-libbing all of his not all of them, but has been ad-libbing like a lot of the phrases and like the curses and you know, just like the freaky deaky, and I don't know if that's particularly one of them, but he's been like freestyling a lot of these, like they're unscripted, and he's just so good at it. So like knowing that it's not the writers that are feeding him these lines, and I'm not saying that every single line isn't, you know, he comes up with on his own, that's not true, but a lot of these things he just kind of like freestyles some like one-liners in there, and they just work so good. And guys, my favorite part of the episode, I had two favorite parts. No, I had three. Oh, fuck. Okay, I had so many favorite parts. Okay, one, Father Gabriel. That was so funny. I just like could not stop laughing. I love Father Gabriel. Actually, really quick thinking on his part for making it appear that Maggie was dead. That's a whole new twist that wasn't in the comics, right? I'm pretty sure Negan never mentioned potentially having Maggie as his wife in the comics, and I liked that part a lot. And it really brings up an interesting thought as to what is going to happen when Negan discovers that Maggie is still alive and at the hilltop, and she's gonna, you know, I feel like when she can have time to mourn, she's gonna be full on like moving into that Maggie comic role. Like, I'm sure of it. And let me just say, like, I love how closely they're following with the comics right now, because everything was just gold in this episode, and it was so good. Second favorite part was Rosita asking Eugene to make bullets. Like, we knew that was coming eventually, but I had no idea it was happening in this episode. Man, we're moving through these storylines so quickly. Like, it really makes me think that we are going to be at all out war very soon. And that's scary and exciting at the same time, because I really want to see all out war, you know, brought to life on the television. But at the same time, we're moving through these storylines so quickly that it's kind of scary to like contemplate the fact that we might catch up to the comics much sooner than anticipated, you know? And then it's kind of like, well, will we be eventually ending The Walking Dead, or will we keep moving forward? It's scary. We can't ever have the end of The Walking Dead, okay? And then the third one, what was the third one? Now I've forgotten. Oh, of course, Negan's one-liner. My kid's over there, so I can't yell it loud, but the dick in the throat. That was literally the best line ever. I had a moment where I thought they weren't going to do that in this episode. I just thought it wasn't gonna happen, and then he just said it so smoothly. It was so good. Okay, I want to start a little bit back at the beginning. So we see that Michonne has been hiding this gun. She is she hiding it from Rick? Because she very much wanted to make sure that he was still sleeping before she reached for the gun. Like, she was very much like looking around to make sure no one was watching, including Rick. Okay, so it's interesting that she would hide it from him as well. Now, I could have that wrong. Like, I could, but it seemed as though she was hiding it from him as well. I love that they are giving her some of the sniper type skills. Not obviously she doesn't have any skills yet, but that she's wanting to, because it's kind of like a little shout out to Andrea in the comics. It was very exciting to see this. Really funny that she's so good with her katana and so horrible with shooting far away. But she gets a deer, and she kind of does this like laugh where you're like, all right, well, at least I got dinner for it. And we see then Negan arriving in Alexandria. Rosita and Spencer were gonna go out on a run. It did not happen. Negan shows up early. It's really, I would guess it's only been a few days since Glenn's death, Abe's death. And I was really disappointed in Rick. So Rick says at one point, we've been putting away half the supplies for you. But I was really disappointed that Rick didn't come back to Alexandria full force, like hide what we're gonna hide, you know, hide some of the guns. I mean, surely, did he really think that Negan was gonna be reasonable enough to come in and just accept their gift and not want to have a look around and not want to take the guns. Like, that would be the first thing I would do if I was an opposing community wanting to keep this community under my thumb. And Rick, he has the knowledge and the foresight, and I know this, to realize like what Negan would do. And I don't know if it was like the emotional trauma that they all received after having witnessed Glenn and Abe's death that just made him like not think properly. But coming back to Alexandria, my first thing would have been to hide some of the guns, not hide all of them, because Negan obviously knows. Have Olivia change the inventory if she's gonna keep inventory, or hell, have her hide the inventory list. Like, what the hell is she doing walking around with a list of everything they have? Of course Negan's gonna wanna look at it and take all of the good stuff, you know? Whatever. I forgive Rick for it because I know that they've been through so much and he wasn't expecting Negan to show up early. So, you know, okay, fine. You made a mistake. You fucked up, Rick. Okay, you did. But I'm gonna let this one slide, okay? But now you're screwed because you have no guns. And he even makes Michonne give her gun back. And I see his reasoning because Rick has always been like, he wants to save people now. You know, he has this community and he doesn't want anyone to die. And he just witnessed these two extremely horrific deaths of people that he very much cared about. Glenn being his family, you know, and it's horrible. And so he wants to do everything like by the book and give Negan what he wants so that they can have some semblance of a life without anyone else dying, okay? I totally see that. Obviously, it's hard for everyone to get on board with that. We see that Rosita is extremely angry. She's not really getting on board with that. Michonne doesn't want to get on board. That's why she's, you know, sneaking off with a gun, trying to fight, or not trying to fight, but trying to practice. Spencer's obviously not on board with it. You know, it's hard to get everyone to understand too. A lot of the people like Eric, who were not there and they didn't witness this horrific thing, it's hard to get them all to understand just how serious Negan is and how scary he is. So I get where Rick's coming from. Obviously, I'm the kind of person that I would want to fight right away. We have all these guns, you know, we can defend. I mean, I feel like they could have defended Alexandria from Negan when he came. Like, if they had really come back and been prepared, I feel like they could have. Obviously, they don't have a ton of people, but they have a lot of ammunition and guns and stuff, and I just sort of feel like they could have maybe, I don't know, going by the comics, you know, I know they're following this storyline, but I kind of like to branch out and think about like the other options that they could be doing instead of just following this comic storyline. Let's see, we have Carl. You guys, I know there are a lot of you guys who love Carl. I just can't get on board with him. I don't know why. He just always makes me angry. Every time I see him, I get angry. But I will say that I really like seeing him become more of his comic Carl self. I like that. I do. I like seeing every time one of our characters does something that they would do in the comics, it gets me very excited. I get chills, you know? It just like all of the Negan with the one-liner where, you know, that gave me chills because it's like, it's straight from the comics and I love seeing that. So when any of our characters, even the characters I don't really enjoy as much, do things that they would do in the comics, it makes me very excited. So I'm sorry to those of you who love Carl. They just makes me so mad. And we saw Enid with the green balloons, and I was like so involved in watching that moment with her and the savior, and I was so pissed off at it that I didn't quite realize what the green balloons meant until later. And it broke my heart because, you know, Enid, she's left at Alexandria and she was getting really close to Glenn and she was getting close to Maggie, and now Maggie is at the hilltop and Glenn is dead. And, you know, you have to wonder how she's coping with that. She's got to be really upset over it, especially after losing her parents. And then these two humans that she's found that she likes are now out of her life as well, and I'm really hoping she eventually finds her way to the hilltop with Maggie. I just thought for sure that she would somehow go with Maggie, and now Maggie's there and she's not, and it's upsetting because I really want her to be happy in that way, and I feel like she could really help Maggie. At least that's my thought on it. Okay, so we have this whole missing 2 guns thing. Spencer, turns out Spencer, of course Spencer has them. And the only thing he can say is he doesn't care that Olivia almost died. He's like, you went into my house, and it's so upsetting. Okay, so this leads me to believe that Spencer is gonna follow his comic storyline to a T. I mean, they're just making it so obvious. And so I think that we will see him probably dying within the next, whenever Negan comes to Alexandria next. I'm sure that Spencer is gonna die. I just really feel like it's moving that way. 2 more things to talk about. Judith, the Judith truth. Man, okay, for one, who watches baby Judith now that Carol's gone? Because Carol was like the Judith babysitter, and now Judith is left alone in her crib like all the time, I feel like. I'm hoping I'm wrong and they're just like off camera, but man, you never see anyone carrying her around. I feel like she's just gonna be like this neglected child that has serious issues because she's alone all the time. But Rick is trying to explain to Michonne why he is accepting Negan's rule over them. He's letting himself be under Negan's thumb, and he's telling Michonne about Shane, and man, I did not expect that to happen at all, right? I mean, when was the last time we heard Shane's name dropped? It's been so long, and I can't, the moment Rick started talking about this, I got chills through my entire body. It was just like this throwback to season 1 and 2, where Shane was still alive and we haven't even talked about him in so long. Same with Lori, and to just hear Rick say his name was incredible. But also, Rick has known for a very long time that there was a very high possibility that Judith was not his child. And when Shane was still alive, he was like very adamant to Shane, like, no, Judith is mine, she's not yours. And he has treated Judith like a daughter ever since. But he's telling Michonne that he knows, and it's one of my viewers said, you know, it takes a lot of guts to say, like, my daughter's not my daughter, and to like admit that out loud. But he's telling Michonne this, and Michonne doesn't know. And he's saying, like, I had to accept it, and now I want to protect her and give her a life and hopefully die many years after, you know, later. And he's trying to get Michonne to accept it as well. And so Michonne says that she will try. Now we see Michonne back out at this truck again in this field, and I was like, does she have another gun somewhere? Why is she out here at this place where she was shooting if she doesn't have anything to shoot with? So I'm not quite sure. I kind of feel like she needed some alone time away from Rick after all of this, because she's not happy with Rick. She lost the deer and she lost the only gun that they had left that they could have snuck back into Alexandria and potentially used against Negan eventually. And he just willingly gave it away, and Negan didn't even know she had it. And so, rightly so, she's upset with him. So I kind of feel like she just needed some like space, you know? And she finds the mattresses. I was not expecting that either. So pretty much Negan's group took all of the mattresses with the intent of using them, at least making it seem like that to the Alexandrians. And they went down the road a ways and burned them. Like, how spiteful is that? And they not just burned them, but left them in a place where they knew that Rick and the group would see them, so that Rick would feel that like loss. And you know, you've worked so hard to get this community, and you're in this place, and you have beds, and you have some semblance of like a normal life, and then they just take all of your luxuries away from you, and you're sleeping on the floor again. And to see all of the mattresses just burned there, like they took them just to be dicks about it, you know, just because they could, and then they just burned them. They weren't even gonna use them, and that hurts. And that hurts Michonne. And Michonne gets angry, and you can just see it in her face, like, she's not gonna try. She's gonna fight, and she's not down with this. And I wanted to point out that I think Rick had a moment as well. And, you know, later he then talks to Michonne, and he seems like that moment is long forgotten. But he's holding Lucille, and Negan turns his back to him, and he's gripping Lucille, and you see him, and he's like so angry inside, and he's just about to like lift it up and just beat beat Negan with it, and he doesn't. But that Rick right there that just peeked through just briefly is gonna be the Rick that we see take us into All Out War. He will surface very soon, if not within the next time we see him. He is going to definitely soften to the idea of fighting back with Negan. I think that Rosita and Eugene are gonna come up with bullets, and they're going to come to Rick and say, look, we can produce these. We have a chance. We have the ability to fight. And I think Rick will eventually head to, hopefully the hilltop, but head to the kingdom as well. And we'll see them start to get people, obviously not within this first half of the season. Hopefully within the second half, we'll see them moving forward towards this. And then season 8, it seems like will probably be like between season 7 and then 8, we'll probably have some sort of cliffhanger, and then All Out War will start. I feel like I'm jumping ahead a lot, but I just definitely see this moving forward, and moving forward rather quickly. I think that's it. I feel like I probably missed something, so we're going to be doing the Q&A, so feel free to ask me things in the comments, or remind me of something if I forgot, because I really feel like I did this, even though this video is 22 minutes, I feel like I talked really fast and didn't really cover everything, but I really enjoyed this episode. Sometimes with The Walking Dead, I wish it was more like Game of Thrones, where in Game of Thrones you see everyone, like a little bit of everyone, almost every episode, so you kind of feel more satisfied like seeing all of your favorites. Because man, we are heading into episode 5 and we still haven't seen Tara and Heath, and that's upsetting to me, and I really want to see my Carol again. And I really am excited for next week to see Maggie finally. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do a predictions video or not for next week. I'm gonna try, but it's just a lot of work, so it may not come out until Saturday again, like it did last week, but I hope that you will still watch it. And my battery is about to die on this, so thank you so much for sticking with me. I have received so many nice comments from you guys lately, and just being supportive, and I love you guys so much. I do. It's so nice to be able to put these videos out there and find a community of people that want to talk about this with me, and I feel like I'm getting teary because I'm very emotional today, you guys. But I've just received such kind comments lately, and there was a comment from Melissa, I think your name is Melissa Cato, and I don't have it in front of me, and you said that you watch my videos and you're going through chemotherapy, and I just I'm gonna cry, but I just wish you all the best, and your comment was so sweet and kind, and it just melted my heart, and of course it made me cry. So I love you guys. I just wanted to say that I'm rooting for you, Melissa. So I love that you watch my videos, and if you guys want to share my videos, I mean,